Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it has come to my attention that this week is Trans Awareness Week. I feel kind of bad because in my video on Monday, I didn't even mention it. That video was pre-filmed, so it was before Trans Awareness Week was actually happening, but this video was filmed during Trans Awareness Week, so hey, what's up? I figured in honor of Trans Awareness Week, I could tell you guys my coming out story. I don't think I've ever actually gone into detail about what happened when I came out as transgender. I don't really know why, I just never did, so better late than never, right? I post videos every Thursday and Monday here in my channel, so if you guys are not yet subscribed, make sure that you do that right now. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Are you done? Thank you very much. I didn't forget to say thank you very much this time. I forgot it in the Monday video. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep as up to date with me as possible. And yeah, with no further ado, let's get right into today's video. My coming out story starts in high school, at least the time that I came out as transgender. At this point, I was already out as gay for probably like a year to 2 years. So if you guys want this story about how I came out as gay, that's a whole different video, but let me know, I could do a video on that too. At this point in my life, I was happier than I had ever been. You know, I was able to dress more freely. I was able to express myself more freely. And I was also able to date the gender that I'm most attracted to. I don't know, it was better in the sense that I could finally express some sort of femininity without feeling like I was being judged. Obviously, you know, cis men can express femininity without it meaning anything. But I don't know, despite being able to act more freely and, you know, being more confident in myself, I still felt like something was like missing. I could wear makeup, I could date boys, all that kind of stuff, but it didn't really address the like self-hatred that I felt. I liked being able to wear whatever I want, but I still hated how everything looked on me. It got to the point where like I couldn't look at myself in the mirror without having my makeup on. And not just like a little like spot conceal, a little foundation, whatever makeup. Makeup that was going to make me feel the most feminine and the most literally just the most girly. When there were days where I didn't do my makeup and I was just, you know, lounging around the house or whatever, I would walk past the mirror and I would literally like gasp. It was just like this heartbreaking reality check, you could say, just like the, oh, yep, that's what I look like. It's really hard to explain and like get across how I was feeling. I guess it would be kind of comparable to like, you know, that feeling that you feel when you don't like something about yourself. If you don't like your stomach, or you don't like your hair, or you don't like your skin or something like that. It was like that, but it wasn't like, oh, I wish I was skinnier. Oh, I wish my hair was straighter. It was like, I want to be somebody else. I want to be a fully different person. I remember sitting in my therapist's office and we did an exercise one time where she was like, all right, well, let's sit here and why don't you tell me one thing that you like about yourself? Let's start there. I'm sure you guys know where this is about to go, but I literally just sat there and I couldn't think of anything. At that point, I didn't know that I was trans. I didn't know being trans was a thing. I just knew that I just felt so wrong and like nothing felt good to me. This feeling of like hatred, this feeling of like overwhelming discomfort in my skin just kept growing and growing to the point where like I would come home from school, I would close all my curtains, I would turn off the lights, and I would literally either sleep for the rest of the day, or I would, you know, submerge myself in Netflix shows or submerge myself in movies or whatever, just something to help me escape my reality, something to help me live vicariously through other people. Looking back, I was obviously suffering with some pretty severe gender dysphoria, but like I said, I didn't have any of the verbiage for this. I didn't know that trans people existed. I didn't know that, you know, what I was feeling was something that other people have felt before and something that I could, you know, do something about. Growing up, I thought that everybody had these feelings of being super out of place and just not, you know, knowing how to be comfortable in yourself. And I'm sure that to an extent everybody does, but I thought that everybody was going through what I was going through, and I thought that everybody just pushed it away. It never crossed my mind that I could actually, you know, be trans. But now that I've grown up and I know who trans people are and I know what the signs are and stuff like that, I can look back and, you know, retrospectively I can see all the signs. I remember walking through the halls of elementary school, and whenever we would have to go wash our hands before snack time, I remember just being so like deathly afraid of leaving my friend group of girls to go into the boys' bathroom to wash my hands for literally 20 seconds. And it wasn't just like oh, I wish I could stay with my friends. It was like I don't feel safe in here. Like I don't fit in here. This is not my spot. This is not for me. And this wasn't like once in a while I would feel like that, or once in a while I would be curious to see what was in the girls' bathroom. Like it wasn't anything like that. It was just, I just remember wishing that I was a girl. In 4th grade, I had my hair down to here, and as I'm sure you can imagine with my curly hair, like I didn't have any product in it or anything like that. I didn't know how to style it, so it was just a mess. But because it was such a mess, my mom was like, oh, you should just put it in a ponytail to get it out of your face. It was just like, okay, yes, I'll do it. 100% down. I just remember feeling this overwhelming sense of just like euphoria, I guess you could say. I remember in second grade, my teacher, for whatever reason, like would make all the girls put their hair up into a ponytail. And because I had long hair, she would make me put my hair up as well. And everybody was like, oh, ha ha ha, so funny. Sam has to put, their hair up. I didn't care. I thought I was living the life, Anyways, back to the story. One of these days that I was laying in bed, not able to, exist. I was on Tumblr or something like that, and I remember seeing, this is gonna sound so funny, but I remember seeing like a GIF of Ariana Grande. I don't know if you guys have seen this GIF, but it's literally just like a GIF of her wearing heels and like dancing. I think she was in a subway or like something like that. And I don't know, something in that moment in my body was just like, bitch, you need that. You need that to be you. You need to experience that. And I just got so like, I guess you could say just so jealous. I was like, I need that to be me. Like, I want to experience that freedom, that like liberation that she must feel. I still didn't really know what being trans was. Like, I knew that there were trans people, but I didn't really like fully understand what it meant, I guess. But I remembered watching a YouTube video where somebody talked about, I don't even know who they talked about, but they mentioned somebody that used to be a boy and was now a girl. I don't know why I remembered it, but it just like, it stuck out in my head, and I just tried to track it down to like see if I could learn more. Eventually I ended up in like a rabbit hole on YouTube, and I ended up finding all of the like Oprah specials and the Barbara Walters specials with trans kids and stuff like that. And then eventually I came across Gigi Gorgeous. And all of a sudden there was this beautiful, successful, happy trans woman like right in front of my eyes. I was like, wow, this is a thing. This is real life. As soon as I learned her story, as soon as I did, a little bit more research on her, I was like, this is me. This is what I have to do. This is what's gonna make me happy. Like, finally, thank you. Because like I said, I had come out as gay, and I thought that was what was gonna make me happy. I just still felt obviously so dysphoric, and I had no idea what it was. So at that point I just felt so hopeless. When it did all finally click and I was like, okay, yes, this is the path for me, this is what I have to do, I remember going downstairs, seeing where my mom was. She was the only person home at the time besides me, and I just kind of like awkwardly stood there, when you just like go up to your parents and you're just like, hey, like you're just down or whatever, and you're just kind of like waiting for them to say like, oh, what's wrong? So I don't even know what I said, but she was like, hey, what's wrong? And I just I couldn't spit it out. I was kind of just like standing there so awkwardly, and like she could tell that I started to tear up a little. I just said, sometimes, and like it took like a minute between each word, but I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm in the wrong body. And then I just started sobbing. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't control it. It just like all started, like I just started crying. My mom being my mom, she's always been supportive of me. She sat there and she was like, we'll figure it out. Like, it's gonna be okay. Like, we'll figure it out. Just trying to reassure me, I will mention that at the same time, she was kind of like hinting that she didn't think that I was trans. It's just trying to like, like, why can't you just be gay? Like that kind of stuff. I do want to mention that because, parents can come a long way. That's all I'll say. And I just couldn't stop crying. And she was like, why are you crying? Like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I just sat there and I was like, no, like, it's not gonna be okay. I had grown up with a father who continuously made gay jokes, made jokes about, trannies. It never came off as a super serious thing, but he would always joke about like, oh, if you were ever gay, you couldn't stay under my roof, blah, 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 like laughing about it, but also, that kind of stuff sticks with you. So when I did come out to my mom, I just remember crying and saying like, it'll never be okay. Like, Dad will never be okay with this. I'll never be able to do anything about this. I was afraid that I was going to hurt my family. I was afraid that I was going to hurt my parents' marriage. For the next few months, me and my mom kept it to ourselves. I was trying to get all the answers and rush forward and, start something that could potentially make me happier. So for me, it felt like time was moving in slow motion, but for my mom, it felt like everything was going fast forward, you could say. Those next few months we spent trying to find a really good gender therapist, which we did. We started seeing her together, and I started going through, my history, how I was feeling, all that kind of stuff. And eventually we came to a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. This, I feel like, was kind of the turning point for my mom. It kind of set in stone that I am transgender, I do have gender dysphoria, and we were gonna have to act on it if I was going to be happy. So a few months after I told my mom ended up telling my dad. This was something that we agreed upon. I wanted her to tell him. It's not like she went and was just like, blurted it out. I wasn't there when she told him, but what she tells me happened was, a lot of crying, obviously. And to be honest, I don't really think that my dad believed anything was actually going to come from it. I don't think that he thought it was, actually gonna happen. So he ended up coming to see my gender therapist with us a few times. She went through the whole history with me. She went through how she got the diagnosis, and she talked about what that would mean for me. At first, he was not a fan. I feel like he might have thought that she was kind of enabling me, but he quickly came around to realize that that's not at all what was happening. And my gender therapist actually held an integral role when it came to getting my dad to, accept what was happening. So I think my dad had known for about a month and nothing had really happened. You know, he was kind of still like pretending it wasn't gonna happen. He was like, pretending it didn't exist, all that kind of stuff. But at this point, I was getting ready to move away for college in a couple weeks. In my freshman year of college, I moved to Chicago, so like 1,000 miles away from home. So I really wanted to get us both on the same page before I left and then came back months later looking much different, you know what I'm saying? My parents were both sitting downstairs one night and I went downstairs and I sat down and I said, can I talk to you? My mom didn't really say much because, you know, like I said, she's always been supportive of me, so she didn't really have much to say. I said to my dad, I was like, listen, I know that I'm transgender. I know that you know what's going on. Do you want to talk about it? It was a really, really hard conversation to have. He had never met a trans person before that like he knew of. His only exposure to the trans community were the people that he saw on Jerry Springer literally like every day. I tried to explain it to him as well as I could, that I was just trying to be happy. I showed him other trans girls online. I showed him Gigi. I showed him this one girl named Aurora. I haven't seen a video from her in so long, but if you by chance see this video, girl, Aurora Andrews, you helped me so much. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. We went back and forth for a while. We didn't really get too far in the conversation, but I will say that it was a very calm, lighthearted, like nice conversation. Our relationship up until that point was not the best. This was a good conversation for us. Long story short, I ended up just saying to him, I'm moving away for college and this is what I have to do. Either you can be the dad that loves me and accepts me and helps me through this, or you cannot be. That's the option. And it was really upsetting to me to have to say that, but at this point in my life, I had been struggling with being happy for so long that I couldn't let anybody stand in the way of it. The conversation ended, we said goodnight, I love you, and that was pretty much it for that conversation. I moved away from college, I started taking hormones, and I started living full-time as Samantha. When I came home for the holidays, he did his best with pronouns, as did everybody else in my family. And it took a while, but they did all come around. I think that once I transitioned and once he saw that, you know, I'm still the same person, just a lot happier, I think that he really understood why I had to do it. That was over 5 years ago, and now he rarely ever gets my pronouns wrong. And honestly, I don't think that we've ever been closer than we are right now. It took a long time for everybody to adjust and to fully get pronouns and to fully get my name and everything like that. But to be honest, it didn't really matter how long it took. It just mattered that they were trying and that, you know, they supported me. It didn't matter if they completely understood me. And honestly, I don't think that they really do. I don't think that a cis person can truly understand a trans person ever. They still supported me. They still helped me through my surgeries. They still cheered me up when I got my heart broken, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the story. The moral of the story is love conquers all. I know it's cheesy, but I mean, it's true. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I do just want to note that I have been extremely, extremely blessed with my situation. I've been extremely blessed with my parents. I know that this is not the norm for a lot of trans people. I know that a lot of parents don't accept their trans child. And sometimes it can even come to, you know, kicking them out of the house, extreme, you know, situations. If you do have supportive parents like I do, make sure that you go give them a big hug, an extra thank you, an extra I love you today. And if you guys don't have supportive parents, I want you to know that I accept you. I love you. You are valid. And I know it sounds so ridiculously cheesy to say, but just remember that things do get better. The older you get, the more independence you have, the easier it will be to surround yourself with people who do love you and do accept you. Also, I'm going to leave some links down in the description below. If you guys don't have supportive parents, there's some awesome websites out there that can pair you up with like an ally parent. So if somebody doesn't have a supportive parent, they can get connected with her and, you know, she'll be your supportive parent. If you guys did like this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up down below. It really helps out my channel a lot. Also, if you guys are not subscribed already and you would like to be, make sure that you do that right now. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter to keep us up to date with me as possible. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Trans Awareness Week, and I will see you next Monday. Bye, guys.